Mm-hmm.
Because before we get into the console, let's know what is cloud computing. What are the advantages of cloud computing? What are the types of cloud computing? And what are the types of cloud services? So once we know this, we can get into the console. So since it's a demo class, so it's going to be an introduction part of cloud computing. So first, let me start with what is, let me know first before from which background you are from and you have worked on it. Do you have an experience from the IT background or how?
Yes, I've been working in IT for past like 6 years now. I mostly work on VMware technology.
Okay.
And Windows Server. Like I don't have any certification, but VMware VCP, I learned it at my work. And I think my work where they're probably gonna transition into AWS in a year or so. And also I'm trying to get like AWS certification.
Sorry, okay. That's good that you have the experience from the on-premises background, right? Administration background. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So we can go ahead with the introduction today. So that's good that you are coming from the IT background, which is you have the work experience of working on the on-premises, right? It's well and good. So to continue from there. So the cloud computing is nothing but it delivers all the servers, storage, databases, all the stuffs which you do in the on-premises. Of course, you would have known that you are from the on-premise, you have worked on the on-premises like VMware, VMware platforms and all. So you know that how much it might be a capital cost if they want to invest on a new hardware, or it is mainly required to dedicated space also, as well as with the cool environment, all those, right? So in the case of cloud computing, everything, will be done within a few clicks. And also we have to pay them on the monthly basis. How do you pay the rent? In the same way, we will be paying them on the monthly basis for what service you use. There are 50 to 60 services in cloud computing. Sorry, in AWS, not in cloud computing, in AWS. So, we will be going through initially of associate level few services about it. Okay. So whatever the service you use, you will just be getting paid for. You have to pay for it. So what is cloud computing? Is nothing but it's an alternative for the on-premises data center. Of course, you would have worked on on-premises data center based on your skills, what you said, you would have worked on all those, right? So here, it is something like alternative in the sense, see, we don't need to install the hardware in the case if you get into the cloud computing. And then it is, install only the thing is we have to install the operating system. Okay, and operating system also, it has been inbuilt over there. You can, within a few clicks, you can make the operating system ready. It might be Red Hat, it might be CentOS or Fedora, any Linux, just any RPM packages or Debian packages like Ubuntu or SUSE, that is Oracle one, or it might be any Windows. You can install it within a few clicks and get the virtual machines ready within few clicks. So in case of on-premises data center, of course, we have to have a budget for firewall, right? You should have a network firewall if you're going for the company security. And also you should have your, you should have a storage. Also, you should have the storage, backup storage. All those, it has to be there if you're working on the on-premises. And servers, host, which has to be into the cluster, all those. So all those can be done here I mean, we don't need to create any kind of clusters over here. What we do is we'll be doing a scaling concept. Scaling is nothing but it will increase the number of instances when the traffic hit count goes more. And it will decrease it based on the threshold we set. Okay, so in that way it works in the cloud instead of creating the host. So host, you should have a dedicated servers, right? If you want to put into the clusters. So all those it will be done on in the threshold basis in the cloud computing. Like if you set the threshold, like minimum instance 1, if during the non-peak hours, let it go to 1, and during the peak hours it can go up to 5 instances if the CPU threshold reaches above 80%. We can set a thresholds. So in that way it works. So it is a cost cutting. In that basis, see, if the users are more, it is making use of 5 instances, that is 5 virtual servers. If the users are less, it's just making use of 1 servers. So during the peak hours, it will be charged. But during the non-peak hours, it will be running only with 1 instances. So it will not be charged more. So in that basis, we can just cost cut. Cost cutting can be done in the case of cloud computing, okay. So that's the benefit over here. And no need to concentrate on the hardwares, much into the hardwares, because it is taken care by the cloud vendors. It might be any cloud vendors like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, anyone. These are the 3 competitors in the cloud computers. In the cloud. So maintenance part will go less over here. In the case of cloud computing, like I said, we don't need to maintain the hardware or replacements. All those will not be there. Only we have to focus from the operating system level to application level. I hope you are getting it right, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you are from IT background, you can quickly capture it. I guess it will be very easy for you to capture it, since you are not a beginner or a fresher. So how does the cloud computing works? It just works only with a single web interface, where all the services are located in a single web interface, and it can be handy. You can use it anywhere. So just using by URL, you can type anywhere and make use of any of the services of the AWS. So these are some of the cloud computing, cloud providers, and mainly 3 are Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform, GCP. These 3 are the leaders in the cloud compared to others. So let's see first what are the advantages of cloud computing. Advantages of the cloud computing is, like I said, it's a cost. You don't need to buy a hardware and software also as well. And next, coming to the part of speed, within few clicks, your infrastructure is getting provisioned and ready. And scalability, like I said, you the example, when the hit counts goes more in the traffic of the web server, assuming that web server is running on the virtual machine on the cloud, so it increases so that the performance will not be an impact. And then productivity, so like I said, we will be less into the operational effort. Operational efforts, like say, in the on-premises, you know that there will be a separate team for the patching itself, right? Patching or the security updates and all of this.
Yeah.
So this will be done within a single click patching. That means, doesn't mean that within a single click everything is going to happen by itself. There are cloud vendors who are taking care of those to give the proper, by enabling that single click, all the proper patches has to come to the virtual machines or instances in the cloud. Reliability, the backup and the recovery of the data is very less expensive, as because there is a service name called S3 bucket.
S3,
S3 bucket, which is like storage
Storage,
device in the on-premises. So it is very cheapest service in cloud. S3 buckets is most cheapest service in the cloud. That is because there might be a huge storage needs to be allocated for the organization. So that purpose, what they have done is it has made us the cheapest services in the cloud. Okay.
Yep.
So that what is the benefit of it is we can make use of keeping as a backup, as well as we can recover for the business continuity. Security, like I said, it's a simple concept. So within a single click, everything will be done, and it is not happened by a single click. There are the cloud vendors who are responsible for this to send the proper updates for it. Next, these are the advantages of cloud computing. Let's get into the types of cloud computing. First is public cloud. These clouds are that are owned by the third-party cloud service providers. Who are the third-party cloud service providers? For example, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, DigitalOcean. I mean, you have seen, right, that picture. All those are cloud providers. AWS. Yep. So if you are running your infrastructure on these vendors, I might be assuming that now we are running on the AWS. So that is called as public cloud. What is private cloud? Like how you are working on-premises data centers is called as a private cloud. Okay. Third one is hybrid cloud. The combination of both the public and the private cloud is called as hybrid cloud. Example I will give you. For example, for the hybrid cloud is there might be a web server as well as a database server, right?
Yeah.
So the database server can be stored in the cloud, and the web server can be on premises. There might be a scenario that some of the companies or some of the requirement might be like this. That is because the web server has to be in the in-house, and the database server can be stored securely in the cloud, so that there's no SQL injection or any type of hacking goes into the database. So this is the example of, even though the database is in the cloud and the web server is in on-premises data center, both will be mapped, right? Of course, it has to be mapped using some configuration file. So both will be having communication between each other, but web server will be on on-premise like private cloud, and the database server is in the public cloud.
Public.
So this is the example for the hybrid cloud. Okay. Next, coming to the types of cloud services. So types of cloud services is very important to understand. That's because what will be the roles and responsibilities for the administrators and the software developers and the end users. Okay. See, first we will get into the more control, that is starting from the infrastructure as a service, that is in the bottom from the diagram. So infrastructure as a service. I have also worked on the programming field for 2 years. That was my first career job after my degree. And after that, I'm here working 8 years into administration field, that is 4 years into VMware and Hyper-V, and remaining all into cloud and DevOps. Okay. So I know the differentiation, how it goes over here, and I can also explain it to you how it works. So as an administrator, I have a responsibility to handle the servers also, right?
Yeah.
In any company, there might be two departments, different departments. One will be administrators department, and the other will be the developers, or there might be development team will be there, and administration team will be there. Correct? So the developers team jobs will be like building the code, executing the code. Only their job will be like only the build the code, execute the code, and if the testers team will test it, If some bug comes out, so it has to come back to again to the developers team. When everything goes good, it goes to the release. Am I right? This is how
Yes.
the application team works. So after everything release have come out, then they will hand over to the administrators team, because it has to run on the servers only. So if there is any runtime issue comes, again the administrators will raise a ticket to the application team, and then they get it resolved. This is how the protocol goes in the standard companies. So here, IT administrator, see, what are the roles of IT administrator? They have to maintain EC2. EC2 is nothing but a virtual machine in a cloud. Like how you run, like above EX6 host, you'll be running a number of VMs, right? So in the same way, those VMs are called here as Elastic Compute Cloud.
Okay.
And that is in AWS terminology. If you're going for Azure, Microsoft, then they will call it as Microsoft Azure. If you're going for GCP, their terminology will be like Google Compute Engine. All those are nothing but VMs. The terminology varies. That's it. So in infrastructure as a service, we can rent an IT infrastructure, like I said, servers and virtual machines, storage, network, operating systems, all those. We can rent it, and we can start using of within a few clicks, like I told you before. It might be a Windows or Linux, doesn't matter. It's up to your requirement. So here we need to put more effort into maintenance only from above operating system level only. It's clear, right? Even if they are administrators. Next, coming to the platform as a service. What is the platform? Sorry, platform as a service. Yes, correct. Platform as a service. Platform as a service is nothing but used only by the software developers. Like I said, a development or application team. What is this platform as a service? Why only the software developers can make use of it? Because they don't need to create a virtual machine and all, right, to maintain it. They don't need any administrators, because they're going to execute for testing purposes only for the application. I don't guess it is not for the production purpose. If it is for production purpose, of course, we have to get the administrators into the picture. So what they will do is they will make use of platform as a service, like AWS terminology we call as Heroku. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. In Azure, Microsoft we call as Heroku, and GCP we call it as Google App Engine. So they will make use of these services to just execute the code and get the output. If there is any bugs, the testers again will test it and get back to the developers team, and developer will resolve and release the build. So here you can just select any of the language, what language you have developed. There will be no lot of questions of asking which virtual machine you want to, how many virtual machines you want to install, or how many, what is this? You want to install Linux or Windows, all those are nothing. No questions over here. The only question is here is which programming language you're using. That is, it's going to be a Java, .NET, PHP, Ruby, Python, or anything else. And you will execute, and you will put the code and start executing directly. So this is only used by the software developers for application teams, from the application team. And third one is a software as a service, SaaS. This any end user can use. Any end user means they have given the example like Gmail. You know Dropbox, right? Dropbox.
No. Yeah.
All these are, only the technical persons has to be used. It's nothing like that. Any end user can be using this, using Dropbox or Microsoft OneDrive. Any examples you can give, any number of examples. So software as a service can be used by end users. So the controls over there is very less. So this is how it works, the types of cloud services. And I'll show you the simple diagram which will make you very clearly The one which you have experience is a package software. Do you agree with it or not?
Yes.
Correct. So when you go for the infrastructure as a service, even the cloud administrators, see the blue color, which will be managed, will not be managed by you. It will be completely managed by the vendors. It might be AWS vendors or Microsoft vendors or Google GCP vendors. Okay. So this part of the burden is gone for the administrators. Do you agree? Virtualization, servers, storage, and networking. The only thing you have to maintain is from the operating system level. And the middleware, runtime, data and application. Data and application will be maximum used by the developers initially. Then they will hand over it to the administrators, like I said. So the infrastructure as a service will be maintained, and the platform as a service will be done by the developers. Only application and data will be maintained. Software as a service will be completely maintained by the vendors. Okay. So I guess this diagram explains you very clearly what I'm trying to say. Is it or not?
Yes.
So these are the types of cloud services we have. And so we will end up here for the introduction section, and we'll be starting about AWS console.
Okay.
So this will be the part of introduction section. So console, we have our own account, which you can create.
Okay.
Also, you can create by yourself initially. Let's type this. So first time when you do this, type as AWS console in the Google.
Yep.
First you have to sign up using some sort of debit card or whatever. So you have to log in here. Enter here and put the sign up details. Then you can get access to the sign in. So once all okay to set, so you can start using all the services. But so far, do you have any doubt in the document? This is from the introduction.
So far, so in terms of the AWS console, like, do you guys provide the login and password, or how does it work?
Yeah, we have to provide the login and password. Without that, it won't work. So just I'm giving some example of creating one user. And let me make sure that I'm not a bot or something like that. And then I'm going to give you a password here over here and log in. If you're don't have the account, you have to create a new AWS account. You have seen here, right? From here, you have to create a new AWS account. So you have to create a new AWS account and you can sign in. If you sign in, you can see all the services over here. These are the 50 to 60 services I was talking about. So, but we'll not be working on all the services. We'll be working on only few services.
Okay.
Based on associate level, which we are going to focus. So we'll stop here, and from the next session, we'll continue with the first service that is called as EC2.
Okay.
It is nothing but a virtual service. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not real right now, but so once I get the login name and password, like, does it expire? I mean, the session, right? Let's say once I log in, like, I know that they have certain limitation on the AWS console.
What you can do is you can go with the free tier account initially, so that you can make use of it for 12 months.
For 12 months.
For 12 months. It's a free tier account, so you can start practicing on that initially.
Okay.
So that might be more helpful for you to give more practice into it and get exposure using that account.
Okay.
This is just a business account. So you will have business account with a full feature, but free tier also has a feature, but with some certain limitations. That's it.
Okay.
So you can make use of free tier account. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let Satish know about the feedback of the demo,
Okay.
and then we will decide whether to continue from there or not.
All right. No problem.
Okay.
right.
By the way, your name is Vinay, right?
Vinesh.
Vinesh. Oh, sorry. Vinesh. Okay. Okay, Vinesh. So you just give the feedback to Satish, and Satish will get back to me.
Okay. No problem. I will reach this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.